16 weirdest things done by millionaires. They say money can't buy you class, and in many of our stories today, that might just be proven true. Although not all millionaires have done embarrassing things, some of them have just used their money for the most extraordinary, and we're totally okay with that. Number 16. Show me the money. Salvatore Sam Corletto could certainly show you plenty. He made his fortune in the property market in Sydney, Australia. Despite having a huge fortune, it couldn't buy him any manners. Salvatore would wander through the streets of Sydney looking for restaurants and cafes. Mind you, not for sitting down and having a meal or something to drink, but rather, he would defecate in front of their doorways. Amazingly, he got away with this atrocity for 4 years, and he did it every single night. He was finally caught on CCTV footage, and he was charged for this repulsive act. He was fortunate that he was let off with a constitutional discharge. You do have to wonder if a regular person without billions in the bank would have done this? Would they have been let off as lightly? I'm having my doubts. Number 15. Money is no object. With a net worth of $5.4 billion, Richard Branson can literally do whatever he wants. And he just proved that when in 2013, he donned a female flight attendant's outfit with a lick of gorgeous red lipstick and worked as a flight attendant on an actual AirAsia flight. He took the role so seriously, he even shaved his legs. The reason why he did this was because he lost a bet to Tony Fernandez about who would win the Grand Prix in Abu Dhabi. It must have been an incredible 6-hour flight for both passengers and Bronson. Number 14. More money than sense. A truer word could not be said about Tony Totoni, who found Instagram fame thanks to his extreme and over-the-top wealth. Born in Iran, his family has been making a living in the United States since the Islamic Revolution in 1979. To make things weird, no one is quite sure what the guy actually does, but he managed to purchase a nightclub in Hollywood when he was only 19 years old. It was a huge success, and he sold it and bought another one. The guy is totally loaded, has a fleet of overpriced cars, and a surplus of girlfriends. Although he has since married and had a kid. Reports say that he literally throws his money in the air for passerbys to catch. He has a personal chef, several properties, and despite being married, hasn't slowed down on his playboy lifestyle, but she says she does trust him. Number 13. Money to burn. Robert Clark Graham made his millions by inventing shatterproof glass eye lenses. That was all fine and dandy, but Graham decided to use his vast fortune to create a master race. As you do. So, in 1980, he opened up the repository for Gramineal Choice, which was a sperm bank meant to only take donations from Nobel Prize winners and candidates. By the time someone was actually winning the coveted prize, they were pretty old, so it wasn't working out the way he had hoped. One contributor that became known was William Shockley, who won the Nobel Prize in 1956 for physics. He was 70 years old when he donated. Graham exited the Earth when he was 90, and the repository closed shortly after. It's believed 217 children were fathered this way, and those that have come forward have shown remarkable intelligence. Number 12. Money is power. And Leona Hemsley was one powerful woman, although she wasn't the nicest of women. She earned the nickname Queen of Mean, but it stood her well when she ran a string of successful hotels, along with her husband Harry Hemsley. She wasn't nice to any of her staff, would fire people for the slightest misdemeanor, screamed insults at people, and was even mean to her own family. When she did eventually make her grand exit, she gave them a measly $5 million each to her 2 grandsons, and left the bulk of her real estate to her Maltese, whom she was very fond of. Number 11. Money is no object. Have you ever watched Jurassic Park and thought, wouldn't it be cool if dinosaurs still lived today? Nope, me neither. Clive Palmer was the exact opposite. This Australian mining magnate thought it would be an amazing idea to create dinosaur clones. Thank goodness the project was not a success, so he shifted his attention elsewhere. His next big idea is to recreate the Titanic and don it exactly as the original. Let's hope it doesn't suffer the same fate as that original. Number 10. Money cannot buy happiness. But it sure can buy you a lot of IKEA furniture. This is Ingvar Feder Kamprad. He was one of the richest men in the world, but you would have never said so if you had just met him, or even if you were fortunate enough to have been invited to his house for tea. Granted, he is no longer around to invite you for tea, but if he were, you'd never say you were having tea with the founder of IKEA, the flat-pack furniture giant. Kamprad lived a very frugal life, and there are several examples to highlight that. He drove a decades-old Volvo, reused his tea bags, and purchased his wrapping paper after Christmas when it was marked down. Some even said that he would steal salt and pepper packets from restaurants. His home was nothing amazing, but he lived in a very modest house and not a flashy neighborhood. Every item of furniture in his home was from IKEA, and he used public transport whenever possible. He was said to be worth around $3.4 billion. Number 9. Money is not everything. No, but it certainly does help out a lot, doesn't it? Nicholas Begroun has been dubbed the homeless billionaire because despite being worth nearly $2 billion, Begroun gave it all up for a simpler life. The Paris-born bachelor made his fortune in real estate and established Begroun's Holding Inc. When he turned 45, he had quite the turnaround in how he viewed life. Up until that point, he was all about expensive cars, mansions, parties, gorgeous women, pretty much everything you would expect from a wealthy man. At 45, he said material things no longer gave him pleasure, so he sold everything and traveled the world, staying in small, budget hotels along the way. He has since had 2 children thanks to egg donations, and they live together in Los Angeles. Number 8. Put your money where your mouth is. Yuri Milner sure did that. This Russian billionaire is worth around $2.8 billion, which he made through his film Digital Sky Technologies. Forbes has named him as one of the 100 greatest living business minds. Milner is convinced of life on other planets, and in 2014, he confirmed he would invest $100 million of his own money to find evidence of alien life on the Saturn moon Enceladus. Number 7. In the money. Mark Zuckerberg seems to lead a pretty ordinary lifestyle, considering that his net worth is just shy of $70 billion. He has a wife, 2 kids, dresses pretty averagely, and drives pretty ordinary cars too, an Acura TSX, a Volkswagen hatchback, and a Honda Fit. He is also admirably part of Giving Pledge, along with Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, and another 100 billionaires who have all vowed to donate the majority of their wealth to philanthropy. Here's where Zuckerberg got a bit weird. In 2011, he announced he was no longer consuming meat, unless he took the life of the animal himself, with his bare hands. In May of that year, he confirmed he had taken a pig and a goat. Thankfully, that phase didn't last long, and from 2012 he acquired his meat the old-fashioned way, the store. Number 6. Mad money. Some might consider what Howard Hughes did a little mad. He was an American business magnate, investor, record-setting pilot, film director, and philanthropist, just to name a few. And he also inherited millions of dollars from his dad's oil business. He was obsessed with movies, and there's a story that says he binge-watched movies in one of his own theaters for 4 months, never leaving the darkened room at all. He would relieve himself in glass bottles and whatever container he could lay his hands on. Couldn't have been pleasant for the cleaning staff, but it seems that when you have that much money, you can get away with just about anything. Number 5. In for a penny, in for a pound. Jocelyn Wildenstein married Alec Wildenstein in her 30s. And it's been reported that she underwent all her facial changes because her ex-husband loved big cats, with her personal property alone amounting to just over $16 million. Her past is also rather interesting, having caught her ex-husband in bed with a 19-year-old model. From there, the divorce awarded her $2.5 billion, and for 13 years after, $100 million each and every year. It's a shame she squandered so much on her face, but reports say that she's very happy with the outcome. Number 4. Gave it up for love. Maria del Rosario Caetana Fitzjames Stewart y Silva. Yes, that's officially her full name. She was the 18th Duchess of Alba, Italy. She was the most titled aristocrat in the world, according to the Guinness Book of World Records. Besides some bad decisions when it came to altering her looks, Maria decided that love was far more important than money. When she was 85 and worth roughly $5 billion, she fell head over heels in love with Alfonso Diaz Carabantes, who was 20 years her junior. As you can imagine, her family was horrified and also concerned that she would end up leaving her vast fortune to her new man. To prove to her family that it was true love and had nothing to do with her money, she gave it all away. She let her children and grandchildren get their inheritance early, which included her estates, artworks, and even original correspondence from Christopher Columbus. The lucky man signed away all rights to gain anything after her passing, and both vowed that they had a deep love for each other. Number 3. Money changes everything. And with a net worth of $6.4 billion, Georgia Bedinza Ivanishvili can certainly change a few things. He used to be the Prime Minister of Georgia and has a home that cost him $50 million, and it's made entirely out of glass and steel, with artwork inside valued at $1 billion. Reports suggest that he is an incredibly generous man, and he also has an absolute love for penguins. He allegedly loves them so much that he built them their own zoo on the property of his summer estate, which also boasts many other animals, including zebras, sharks, parrots, and flamingos. Number 2. Money talks. Peter Thiel has a net worth of $2.6 billion and definitely hasn't squandered his fortune. He is the co-founder of PayPal and has invested substantially in Facebook. Yeah, he makes a fortune, but his true passion is using his hard-earned money for philanthropic purposes. He started the Thiel Foundation, and through this foundation, he invested in some rather unusual technologies. He used his cash to develop artificial intelligence. He used some to develop human immortality as well, as starting research into the building of floating cities, which he feels is imperative if we want our species to continue on Earth. Number 1. Mo money, mo problems. Prince Al-Walid bin Talal is an investor in Saudi Arabia, and his net worth is estimated at $15.9 billion. That business reporter once mentioned in a report about the prince that he kept a group of dancing, laughing, joking dwarves, and would occasionally throw them around in midget throwing competitions. You have to wonder if this is indeed true, although I can't imagine Business Insider printing anything if they weren't 100% certain of the facts. But we're living in 2018. Thanks so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to our channel for more daily videos. See you next time.